Welcome to the Law of Attraction Tribe podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie Key. If you're looking to manifest a life you don't need a vacation from, then you came to the right place. I quit my 9-to-5 job to stay home with my kids while building a thriving business. Now, as a best-selling author, app creator, and 3-times podcaster, I am here to teach you how to do the same. If you want to join my inner tribe, head over to the Manifest It Now app. And now let's dive in to the podcast where I'm going to give you my best manifestation hacks and tips so that you can manifest a life full of abundance, freedom, and fulfillment. Hey guys, welcome back to the show. If you are currently stuck in your day job and you want out, you want to leave, but you don't really know what that first step is. You don't know what you'd even want to do, how you would do it, or maybe you're a business owner and you are struggling on social media. You've been posting like crazy, trying to figure out the algorithm, and you're getting nowhere. You're not growing. No one's buying your stuff. Then I have a solution for you. I am teaching women all over the globe how they can create their own branded app and set it up on autopilot for easy recurring passive income. Meaning you go through this 6-week program, do the work, set it up, and then you can relax and collect passive income doing the thing that lights you up, whether that's a hobby or a passion or you're fulfilling your purpose. I'm going to walk you through it step by step. So if this is something you've been asking the universe for, like, tell me how, tell me the next step, then maybe you're hearing this for a reason. I'm going to link everything up in the show notes, but I have a free passive income masterclass where I walk you through what I do, how I do it, and how I want to help you do the same. And I've also included my Finding Your Purpose journal to help you figure out what that thing is. What is the thing that you were put here to do? What is that thing that lights your soul up, that you would jump out of bed every morning to do if you could? And I'm going to show you how to monetize that. So I will link that up in the show notes, or you can just go to theLawOfAttractionTribe.com/digital CEO. Again, that's theLawOfAttractionTribe.com/digital CEO. All right, let's go ahead and dive into today's episode. I have guest Alysha Bradley, and she is a multi-6-figure, multi-award winner beauty business owner and beauty success coach. She helps over 1,000 private members transform their lives and businesses with her online training membership, which focuses on business, personal, and spiritual development. You're going to love Alysha. And for those of you in the beauty business, pay attention. And for those of you that aren't, still pay attention. This woman has been extremely successful in her business. She has so much to share. And I love how she incorporates the business stuff, but also the manifestation and spiritual stuff, the mindset component, because that's so important in having a successful business. So let's go ahead and listen to Alysha. Hey, Alysha, welcome to the podcast.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Me too.
I got to go on your podcast, and that was a lot of fun. And now I'm super curious to hear more about what you're doing, because you had really good, almost like instant success with your business. You got to 6 figures pretty quickly. So I kind of want to hear about that. Like, how did you get started, and how did you reach multi 6 figures so fast?
Yeah, so I was initially I was employed for a company and I was selling forklift trucks, and I didn't really enjoy the job. I love to sell and I do like selling, especially when it serves a purpose. But my passion with forklift trucks was like close to zero.
I can imagine.
As you can imagine, yeah. So I decided that I wanted to become my own boss and I wanted to do something that I was more passionate about, which is why initially I joined the beauty industry, and I'm still in the beauty industry now. So I started with my own beauty business, and that's the one that I scaled really quickly. So I scaled to £287,000 in 9 months. I know
Wow,
that
that
was
is unbelievable, first of
yeah, that
all.
was incredible. And then once I had scaled to that sort of number, I started to employ a team, and I got a team of 18, and they was running the business for me. And now as it stands, like I still own my multi-six-figure business, but I don't actually work in it much at all. So I took my knowledge in beauty business growth, and I implemented created like a coaching program for beauty business owners to teach those exactly what I did to help me get to those six figures. And that's where I'm at now. So I spend most of the time now coaching beauty business owners, although I do still have the salon. So the question was, how did I scale to six figures so fast? Well, it wasn't easy, so I'm not going to pretend it was, because there was a lot of work and a lot of time spent on growing the business. But for me, and one thing that I teach my members is I focused really hard on three different things. The first thing that I focused hard on was my personal development. So for me, under personal development falls learning how to manage my time, learning how to overcome limiting beliefs, and that sort of stuff. Another big focus area for me was business development. So learning how to track my numbers, my finances, how to employ a team, learning more about taxes. And then the third one, which relates really well to kind of what you do, is the spiritual development. And that was probably the biggest part of my journey in those 9 months. So it was really learning how to work with the law of attraction, my vibration, manifesting, all those kind of things. And I think it was those three things combined that actually resulted in me achieving that success so quickly. So yeah, that's how.
I love how you combine all three, because I feel like I see a lot of times in people, like there's the people that just think that they have to focus on the business stuff and the numbers. But then there's also people that just like get super into manifesting, but then never even want to like look at the numbers or do the other pieces. And it really is a combination of all of them. You have to kind of balance it out. And I think that, you know, it's not something that we're naturally very good at. And it's probably because we haven't really been conditioned that way, like in our schooling and stuff. So I think that's really cool that you're teaching that. So one of the things that I wanted to ask is about the mindset piece. Like, I feel like there is a certain mindset you really have to have if you're going to scale and grow to the level that you did. So what were some of the mindset things that you had to go through, or the limiting beliefs that you had to overcome in order to get to that level, in comparison to maybe like some of the clients that you see that really struggle with hitting that?
Yeah, great question. I think for me, the mindset part, although for some people this is the hard part, for me it was quite easy because I've always been a big dreamer. And it was like, if I could sit and look at different opportunities where I could earn more money, and I could drill that down logically and it made sense, then for me it was like, well, if I can do that on paper, I can do it in real life. And there were moments definitely where I overcame like limiting beliefs. But to be totally honest, I don't want to say deluded because it worked, right? But I was like, I can do anything that I put my mind to, because I had been conditioning myself like that for years, because I was actually introduced to the law of attraction when I was 18. One of my ex-employers bought me the book The Secret, which is where most people start, isn't it? They read The
That's
Secret.
where I started.
Yeah, everybody seems to start there. And he bought me that. So I was actually using those things in my sales jobs. So I was like manifesting getting sales and manifesting signing contracts and getting big deals, and those things would always come off. So I had already spent so many years kind of trying and testing out things with manifesting and mindset, and they worked for me. So for me it was like, well, if I can do that for their business, then surely I can do that for my business. And I just think dream big, because why not? Why not? Like,
Exactly.
why limit yourself? It's like, okay, sometimes I set myself stupid targets. I might have set myself a target of, okay, I'm going to hit £1 million in the first year, and I hit about 500K, but am I pissed off that I hit 500K? No. Whereas if I had gone, okay, well, I want to hit 80K in the first year, and that, that's what I want to do, I'd have probably hit that. But why not just dream bigger? And I think I remember a saying once, it was something like, reach for the moon, and if you hit the stars, it's still a win. And it was like, okay, yeah, let's go with that.
That is so true. I see that a lot of times when people are setting goals, it's almost like they're afraid to set a big goal because they're going to be disappointed. But that's such a good point. It's like, are you disappointed? No, you're still hitting way more than you would have if you tried to be reasonable. So I love that. I've always been a dreamer. I used to like get in trouble in school for daydreaming. I just always had my head in the clouds, but it's like, just like you said, why not? I mean,
Mm.
there's nothing negative that's going to come from it.
I agree. And I also think a lot of people attach this fear of failure to their goals. It's like, oh, what if I fail? What if you do? Like, actually, what if you do? What if it doesn't go the way that you wanted to? Like, what actually happens? Nothing, because on the way to you getting to that point of failure, however you want to call it, you're going to have learned so much. You're going to have so much more knowledge. And yeah, do you know what? Like, there's so many different things that I've tried that didn't work. There's so many thousands of pounds that I've spent on things that didn't work. But out of every single quote unquote failure, I have learned so much more of what it is that I do need to do, or so much more of what it is that I do want. And I just think, get rid of that fear of failure, because it's never really a failure anyway. You're just going to learn something new. Stop thinking that if you set yourself a big goal and you don't achieve that goal, that you've failed, because you haven't.
Oh, I'm so glad you brought this up, because I have noticed this with every person that is super successful, like yourself. They all have failed multiple times, like like air quotes failed, because it's not really a failure. Every failure, you learn something, and you just redo your plan, or you tweak things a little bit. And it's almost like we have to switch our mindset to, instead of fearing failure, just kind of expect it. But no, it's just a bump in the road. It's not truly failure. And like you said, what if? What if you fail? Like, what's the worst case scenario? You go back to your shitty day job or something. You know what I mean? It's like, when I asked myself that, and I was like, worst case scenario, I could always go and find a shitty sales job. I realized I was already living my worst case scenario. I was already in the shitty sales job. So it's like, why not just reach for the stars? And then, like, if I fail or whatever, then at least I tried, and I'm not going to live with regrets. Right.
Yeah,
But just like you
definitely.
said, it's never as bad as you think it is. You have things that don't work out, but then you're smarter because of it, and it helps you move forward on your path.
Yeah, exactly. And I think as well, people need to learn to play the long game. It's when you're playing the short game that you get all caught up in yourself, you get overwhelmed, you get stressed out. If you just kind of be willing to set yourself a goal, and for me, it's like, that's the goal, and I don't care how long it takes me to get there. All I know is that I'm going to get there, and I'm willing. That might take me 3 months, that might take me 3 years, but I'm willing, and I'm going to show up, and I'm going to commit to it, because that is what I want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And you know what else I'm thinking too is how it's like, you can really, if you have the right mindset, you can be successful at anything. So it's like, you were successful with forklifts, but clearly that wasn't your passion, your purpose. So you switched, but you still have all the mindset and the ambition to be successful doing something that you enjoy. Same thing with me. Like, I was successful in every company I went to work for, but I wasn't passionate about it. So do you feel like people kind of need to look at that, and if they get into something that they're truly passionate about, that they truly enjoy, it's almost like easier to find that success? You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah, yeah. There's a couple of things there. So I do believe that success, in whatever that looks like for a person, is 70% mindset, 30% strategy. I really do, because it's on the days where we all have days where we're a little bit beaten down, things are a little bit hard, it's a little bit overwhelming, but it's on those days that actually mindset help you come out of the other side. It's not strategy on those days, it's literally mindset. So I think 70% mindset, 30% strategy is like a great way to think about it. And if somebody's listening to this and they think, oh, actually, my mindset is quite negative, or it's quite limited, that's okay, because the first step to changing is awareness. You've got to just become aware of it and then figure out those things. I've actually totally gone off the question now.
No, I love it. I love it.
But
That's so
yeah.
true, though. I mean, we talk all the time about limiting beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
And when we go through like how to overcome those, it's like people sort of realize, once I have awareness of it, once I know it's there, that's like half the battle. I feel like, of
100%.
overcoming it, is just knowing that it's there, because then you can work with that, and you can catch it, and you can see what's been holding you back and move forward. Which kind of leads me into the next question I was going to ask. It's like, if someone is pursuing their goals and they're at a space where they want to grow and scale, but they're stagnant, they're struggling, they're not really sure what to do next, what would you tell them? Or do you have any advice on like what they can do to kind of give them that next boost?
Yeah, so for me, usually that is overwhelm, and that's like what we feel like when we're at that stage and we're like, what do we do next? So my first step would be get out of your head and get away from what it is that you're trying to do, and go and fill your diary for the next week or so with soul food activities, things that make you happy, things that raise your vibration. Because for me, it's when my vibration is raised and it's high, that's where my next step becomes clear. We don't find our next step in struggle or in overwhelm or when we're stressed. Actually, we just find more of what we don't want, and we focus on how we're feeling. So we won't find the next step and the next thing to do when our vibration is down the bottom end of the scale and it's overwhelmed or it's burnt out, or those things. So I just say, like, take your foot off the pedal. Take your foot off the pedal and stop searching for that next thing, because the next thing that you need to do is different for everybody, but the next thing you need to do will become apparent to you the more you're in alignment. Therefore, your focus is to get into alignment. So for me, I've spent before, like, I would spend days and days trying to journal, trying to analyze, what do I do? What's next? And what I eventually realized was that all I was doing in those spaces was trying to like get blood out of a stone. It wasn't coming to me. As soon as I went, fuck this. Sorry, I don't know if I can swear on your podcast.
Yeah, go for it.
As soon as I went like, fuck this, I am so done with trying to find the next way. I give up, kind of thing. I surrender. As soon as I did that, within 2 days, I might be in the shower or I might be driving down the road and it would be like, ping, try that. And I'd be like, ah. So it's kind of like there's a massive, it's not a coincidence when you feel good and you're aligned that you get those ideas. And it's in your alignment that those ideas come to you. So the next step, if you're in that space of what's next for me, I'm stagnant, get out your head, take your foot off the pedal, go and have some fucking fun and live life. Go and do something that makes you happy. For me, that's horse riding. For some other people, it could be going for a walk on the beach. Just really take your foot off the pedal and remember, like, there's no rush. You can have a couple of weeks of just having fun in life. Like, we're allowed to do that. And I promise you that when you actually fully surrender and take your foot off the pedal, that next step will become so much clearer. And you'll know that based on the feeling that you get from it when you initially think about it, because your internal guidance system is there to guide you. That's why it's there. So if something feels good, that's where we go. If something feels bad, that's what we avoid. So that would be my first and foremost advice.
That is like the best explanation I have heard of surrendering, because I get that question all the time. They're like, what the hell? What does that even mean? Like, surrender?
Yeah.
I'm gonna picture you just saying, fuck this now. Like,
yeah,
when I know I need to surrender, it's like, fuck this, because that's literally like what you have to do. And I have noticed that because I just went on just a little mini getaway to the beach with my kids and didn't even look at my business or anything. We just had fun. And I swear, every time I do that, there's massive things that happen, like positive things that come from it, because I've given myself the space. But also I feel like with, especially just in general, like in our society, we really focus on that masculine energy of like taking action and strategy and all of that, which is important. But I think sometimes we have a hard time like switching that off and getting into more of the feminine energy and your intuition. But doing something like that, like you said, go to the beach, go ride a horse, go do what your thing is, and just like say fuck this and let it go is kind of how you flip that switch and tune into your intuition a little bit more. And it's like, that's when things just take off. So
they really do. And then before you know it, and I think the really important thing as well is when those things come to you, make a note of them, because you don't have to take action on them straight away. Like, you don't have to think, oh, the idea's come, I'm going to not enjoy life anymore and just get straight back to work. Just take a note of them, sit with it for a couple of days, see how it feels, and then move forward from there on. But you have to meet the universe halfway, right? So if you get into alignment and do all the good stuff, the universe will supply you with the ideas and the inspiration. You've then got to take that and actually do something with it, which is why I'm great at teaching people how to put the action into the law of attraction, which is why what I work with my members, like, it's a two-way thing. You know what I mean? So
right. Absolutely. No. And that's the thing. It's like, so many times we're given the answer. We're given all these ideas, but then that fear of failure comes in again. And it's like, I'm not going to take action. And then people wonder why they're not moving forward. It's like that is such an important part of it, but we get in our head and we miss it, which is why like you have to combine all of it, the mindset, the spiritual, the business stuff.
And there's just one thing I want to chuck in there as well.
Yeah.
One thing that I learned was, because I've done this before, so I've got myself into that great space, into that place of alignment, and an idea has come through and I've wrote it down, and then a couple of days later I've looked at it, and then the ego starts to creep in, and it's like, shall I do this? Shall I not? Is that good? And I start overthinking it. Now I've got a rule, and it is this: when I am in alignment and I get an idea come to me, that divine download, that surge of energy with that idea behind it, I say to myself, if that was a strong feeling, I take action on it, no matter what my head tells me in between, because it's from that energy pulse. They're the right things for us. So if we start and overanalyzing that energy pulse or that divine download, whatever it is you want to call it, if we start overanalyzing that, we might just not do it. So for me, it's like, motivation is doing the things that we want to do because we want to do them. Discipline is doing them anyway. So when the idea initially comes through, the motivation for me is high. 2-3 weeks down the line, the motivation might have dropped a little bit, and I'll start questioning, is that the right thing? Should I do that? And at that point I go, the surge came, the energy came. Now it's about me carrying on regardless, because that wouldn't have come to me if it wasn't meant to come to me. So I'm not stepping in as my human ego-y self and messing this up, because the universe gave me that when I was in the right place for it. Does that make sense?
Totally makes sense. And I've noticed that too with myself, that you're in a different energy, like when you get those light bulb moments. And so I've kind of, it's like once you learn how to tap into that and tap into your intuition, you kind of know like there's some things that you just need to act on quickly while you're in that energy. But there's other things that need a little more time and planning. But having that discipline to know, and then to trust yourself, like, was this a hell yes? And if it wasn't a hell yes, is it a hell no? And just kind of understanding that, because man, we get in our head and our mind tells us all these lies and all these crazy things that can completely throw us off from these ideas that are going to propel everything forward. So I love how it's like you start with that motivation, but then you come in with the discipline and 100%. Do the damn thing, like move yourself forward. You gotta meet the universe halfway. What are some common mistakes that you see just in general with people starting their business or trying to scale their business?
Okay, so lack of commitment, I would say, is the first one. Like, you've got to ask yourself the question, is this something I'm passionate about? So many people start businesses because they see someone else has got that business and they see the success they've had and they think, I want some of that success. And sometimes they start businesses without actually having the passion for what it is that they're kind of copying, if that makes sense. So then what they find within a matter of weeks is that they don't like it. They're not committed. So I would say, like, get clear on what it is that you want to do and commit to it, whether that's going to be a 6-month journey, a 1-year journey, or a 10-year journey. You've got to really be committed, because people that aren't committed tend to close the businesses in a couple of years. So get committed, get clear.
Well, I feel like a lot of times people will treat their business like it's a hobby. And so it becomes a hobby. It's like you can't just decide you're going to start a business and then put, a couple hours a week into it, right? It's like you have to really go all in and treat it like this is your livelihood, this is your future, this is your path. And you can do that, then absolutely it becomes that, right?
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree with that. I think the second thing I would say is the mistake that I see people make is they overcomplicate things. Like, keep it simple. Like, just keep it simple for a couple of months. I was in the salon yesterday and one of the girls come in, and she's actually joined my members club as well. She's one of the self-employed girls. And I said to her, when did you last post? She's got this new offer. And I said to him, how many times in the last 10 days have you posted about your new offer? And she looked at me and she went, I'm too busy. I went, stop that now. So I said, get me your phone. So she got me a phone. She come over. In 10 minutes, we scheduled 3 posts on the social media. So I said to her, like, and she was like, oh, well, I thought I needed to do a reel, and I thought I needed to write a long caption, and I said, you are overcomplicating this. Keep it simple. You don't have to do reels because everybody's doing reels. You don't have to do anything that anybody else is doing. Get yourself out there and your work out there in a way that feels good to you, that's easy right now. So yeah, there's like that simple side of it. And then, yeah, like people just kind of get so wrapped up in their heads, and they look at the outcome before they've got the outcome, and they focus so much on what's missing, and then they're like, what do I need to do? And that's where the overwhelm comes in. So for me, it's like, focus on your alignment, focus on feeling good, plan out some structure to your day. I'm not saying every 10 minutes you need to have a plan, but just start with the basics, because the more you overcomplicate it in the early days, the more overwhelmed you'll get, and the more you'll just think that it's not worth it. So that would be the second thing. What would be the third thing? I would say people really shy away from the business side of business, which is like tracking the finances, looking at the numbers, because they do it from a place of what's missing, what's not there. But actually month on month growth, when you look at it, some people are so oblivious to their month on month growth when they come into my world. And when I get them to start tracking it, they're like, oh my God, I made £2,000 more this month than I made last month. And this time last year I was earning X amount, and now I'm earning this. And I'm like, but you know that because now you're tracking your stuff, and now you're tracking your stuff and you're seeing it in a positive way. Whether, even if you don't have any growth, still track it, because then you can ask yourself the question, okay, what did I do last month that I could maybe do better this month? You know, like, so I think tracking your business as well, I would say that is a mistake people make, because they think, well, it's not earning much, or it's not earning enough, so I don't need to track it. Actually, you do.
Well, yeah. And I feel like it's always a surprise too. Like it's so common. People don't want to look at money. We're scared of money. We weren't really taught how to be smart with money. And I was the same way. And when I did look at it, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm doing like way better than I thought I was. But I just, like refused to look at it for so long. But you're right. It's so important. And then it helps you like set goals, but smart goals. And it's so, like you're saying, month over month growth. Like we all want to make $1 million, and we'll throw that number out there. But what if you grew 20% or hell, 5%, you know what? It's like looking at that, and it can really help you, I think, keep that motivation if you're looking at it and seeing, even if it's just a few dollars, you're still growing. Exactly. And, so that's such a good tip. And I feel like everyone needs to hear that.
Yeah, I think as well with money, get yourself in the right mindset before you look at your finances. So listen to, I don't know, a song about, have you heard that? I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am rich. Like, listen to that first, then go look at your money. Like, get the vibe up, get yourself feeling good about money, then go and look at it. Don't wake up and say, oh, I'm £100 overdrawn, I'm going to look at all my finances and what's missing. Like, we need to remember that we have to be intentional with the energy we choose when we're focusing on money and when we're focusing on those things. And, I'm yet to meet a serial successful entrepreneur that doesn't track the finances.
Oh my gosh.
They're just not everything out there. Yeah, they do everything. Of course they do. Yeah. And it's like either 20, 30 minutes a week or an hour a month job. Make it fun, set goals, get in a good vibe, welcome all the abundance, welcome all the money. And if it's not where you want it to be, just, I can't wait for next month because this is going to be this now. And just remember the vibe that you put into it.
Yeah. A friend sent me this green money candle, and I've made it like a little ritual now. I light my candle, and then I like write out my goals, and I look at my money, and it's just, it's all it is a candle, but it's getting me in that vibe of like, okay, like good things are coming. I'm calling in abundance instead of that frantic, stressed out vibe, which most people get in when they're looking at money, because money can be stressful if you're not intentional with, how you feel. Now, I totally forgot to ask you, you just had a live event recently, didn't you?
I did. Yeah.
How was it?
It was amazing. It was amazing. It was the biggest live event that I've done to date. So there was 450 people that came along for the live event. Yeah, I started off doing them at 40. And then over the last few years, they've scaled and scaled. And then we just did a full day. This one was actually about the law of attraction. My ones in the future are going to be more on beauty businesses. But yeah, incredible. Just the best vibe, best audience. Everything was smooth. It was easy. Everything flowed well. And I think, I mean, I said to the girls on the day, like, it wasn't stressful because we were so well prepared for it. We started planning this event at the end of February this year, and it pulled off last week. So it was just, it was incredible. Love it. And
it looked amazing from the videos you posted.
Yeah.
It looked very high vibe, like just the energy was like electric. Amazing.
Yeah, it really was. And I look forward to doing more of them and scaling them year on year. Well, I do 2 a year. So scaling them year on year and seeing where I can take it, or where the universe wants me to take it.
If you went from 40 to 450, like that's a huge scale.
I know. I'm ready. I'm ready to see where it's going. I always say I'm getting ready to be ready. I'm getting ready to be ready. And the universe just throws me a little bit more each time, and I step into it. And then it's like stepping into that next level version of me. But when I first started doing the 40 people events, I don't actually think my plan was to scale them to this size they are now. But over the last couple of years, I did like 100 people, then I did 160, and then I did 260, and then they've grown and grown. I don't know. It's a part of me. I feel like it's actually not a choice. Like the universe is like, you're doing an event and that's that. Here's the desire. You're going to do it whether you like it or not, because it's going to have a great impact. And yeah, they're fun. They're fun.
Oh, it totally looked like that. With that being said, like, what are you currently trying to manifest in your business, in your life? Like, what's your next big thing?
My next manifest. So I am so blessed, Steph, because I have the best life. Like, I love it. And we're always growing and we always reach for more, right? But actually, like, I'm so content in life. So for me, I'm in a position where, like, if I wanted to manifest more holidays, I can actually just go on more holidays. Like, I don't have to sit and manifest those things anymore. I can just do those things now. Definitely growing my membership. So at the moment, I'm working with around 1,200 beauty business owners. And the next goal for me is to get that to 2,000.
Nice.
So it's kind of getting those things ready and structured. I really want to hit that first 6-figure month. And that's something. And I know the thing is with me is I look at manifestation and I just know that they're coming. It's just me getting ready to be ready to welcome those things in. Live event, I would like to sell out the place where we just did the last one. It actually has a bottom floor and then it has a kind of a row on the top, and that would be 830 people. So that would be my next big goal, is to sell that one out.
I love that. And it's all just like incremental growth.
Exactly.
And I think that's important, because sometimes it takes a little bit of time, like you said, to get ready to accept it, to get your mind around it.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Beautiful. Well, I have no doubt you'll hit that soon.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell everyone where they can find you, where they can, interact with everything you're doing?
Yeah, amazing. So if you're not a beauty business owner, you can still follow the page, because I do talk a lot about strategy and a lot about mindset and a lot about law of attraction. It's not actually that much about how to get clients in your beauty salon. There is elements of that, absolutely. But again, like I say, a lot of the work around having a successful business is mindset. It is, getting over the limiting beliefs, confidence, and business techniques. So you can follow me on Instagram. It's beauty_growth_academy. I do only coach beauty business owners inside my membership. So if you are a beauty salon owner or beauty business owner, whether that's at home or you've got your own business, or you do it mobile, you're more than welcome into my world. Just click on the link in my bio on Instagram and you can find freebies. And then, like you said, Steph, I've got my own podcast that you was featured on. So that was an amazing interview. And I have guest interviews. So like female entrepreneurs, manifestation experts. Sometimes I'll do solo episodes around like how to plan your time better or how to manage your projects better. So come over and listen. And that's called the Beauty Growth Academy Unleashed. And that's on any podcast app.
And it's amazing. Alysha, thank you so much for coming on. You gave so many good tips, and I know it's really going to help people. So thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much for tuning in. If you guys want more in between these podcast episodes, you can subscribe to my Apple podcast, Manifested It. You can find that in Apple Podcasts, and it has all of my bonus interviews, guided visualizations, subliminals, meditations, all that good stuff. Or you can download the Manifest It Now app, where I put everything, all of my interviews, tools, everything I've used to manifest a life I don't need a vacation from. You can find that wherever you get your apps, in Google Play or the Apple App Store. And you can join the Inner Tribe Manifesting community, which is inside the app as well, if you want to up level with a group of women who are there to support you, cheer you on, give you guidance, and up level your vibe. And if you love this episode, the best thing you can do to support the podcast is share it. Share it with a friend, share it on your Instagram. Make sure to tag me at Law of Attraction Tribe so I can share it back on my story as well. I love connecting with you guys and putting a face to all the listeners out there. So come connect with me over on Instagram and let's start a conversation. Have a great week, and I'll see you back here next time.